think for me it was very frustrating because of the injuries I'd had. I'd heard loads about getting a leg, but I wasn't able to get a leg for at least 12 months because of the break in my femur, and I wasn't able to use crutches until my shoulder healed. So for the first sort of 3 months I was still very immobile, which again, that's what really all I wanted to do was get back to my normal life, back to work, back walking, back, not even anything major. I mean, I wanted to get back on my snowboard, and I knew I would. I knew I would, but it was the time where I felt like I couldn't help myself because I couldn't do too much physio and I couldn't do anything. I just felt very inadequate, very depressed, very sad, really.
Yeah.
How was the time after that you remember for you?
Probably quite similar to what you've described, really. So for the first couple of months after I was discharged, that I can remember, I started to really struggle out with my emotions. I'd get snappy with people because I was frustrated, and then I'd feel guilty that I'd been snappy, and then I felt really bad about myself for getting angry, and it was just a bit of a nightmare, really, first little while. But what I did discover though was that because of how my mental health had been when I was in hospital, and then in the little period when I was discharged as well, I realised that I wanted to work in mental health.
Right.
So that made me reevaluate what I've been doing, and that's what I did.
So it had a positive impact on you from there then, yeah. Yeah, I get it with the being snappy as well, thinking about it, I was for no reason sometimes, and it's all because you're angry at yourself, aren't you? And you don't, you shouldn't be, why has this happened to me?
Yeah.
So you just angry at everything, I guess, and it comes out when you're speaking to those that you love, those that are closest to you.
It does.
Like you say, you snap at them and you wish you hadn't, yeah.
I mean, I actually once tried to vacuum up my friend's cable that was on the floor because I was so angry that it was there, and he's like, why am I so angry that there's a cable on the floor? And I just got the vacuum and tried to vacuum it up, and I'm not an angry person and I've done nothing like that before. And afterwards I just felt so ashamed that I'd done it. And I remember I spoke to a mental health nurse, and he said, what you experience is a normal reaction to an abnormal event. He said it's not normal to be stuck in a flat, it's not normal to find out that you're going to lose your leg, and all these emotions that you're experiencing are actually quite understandable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think you need somebody to tell you that.
Yeah.
For my part, I was a very, very stubborn young man, and I was just going to do this on my own. My family were there helping me, but I was like, I don't need any of that. My mental health is fine. I don't need to speak to anyone. I don't need to share my emotions. I don't want to make my family feel worse by hearing how I feel. So I bottled everything up, really, that looking at it now, it would have been better to speak to someone, especially somebody who's gone through it. Because for me, talking to a stranger who hasn't been there, they can nod their head and say, yeah, I get it, but they don't get it. And for all that my friends and family were there and helping, they don't get it because they wasn't there, and that's not their fault. But that's why I think, peer support's so important, and it's so important to be there for other people who've been, I feel like I owe it to my younger self to be there for the next me, do you know what I mean? Who could really use this.
Yeah.